Well, congratulations. You're moving up in the world. You got a little promotion at work, moving up the corporate ladder. Okay, I see you. And you want your wheels to move up with you. Well, that's all fine and dandy. However, you don't want the rest of the world to know that you're moving up. So you have finer taste in life. You want yourself a nice little powerful car. You want yourself a nice little interior, but you don't want the badge snobbery, the pretentiousness that goes along with owning a luxury product. So enter Mazda with their new 2021 Mazda 3 Sedan Turbo. Obviously, there's a hatchback version as well, but today we're checking out the sedan version of this vehicle. So why would you look at this vehicle? Because it's got pretty much everything that you're looking for in a kind of luxury object, if you will. It's got about 320 pounds-feet of torque, 250 horsepower, and that's on premium fuel. I'll talk more about that in a bit, but there are V8 powered cars that don't even make that much torque, and this little itty-bitty Mazda 3 makes that much, and an interior cabin pretty much straight out of an Audi, the same level of solidity, the button and switch quality, all that good stuff, and even a few nice little features like Bose audio, all that good stuff. And I'll talk more about that in the interior segment, but let's stop talking. Let's get this bad boy out on the road. But before we do that, massive shout out to Capital Mazda for letting us take a look at this vehicle. I will leave all of Capital Mazda of Cary's information down in the description box below, along with Will Rodden's information, so you can contact him if you're interested in buying or leasing one of these cars. Let's get this out on the road now, see what kind of changes they've brought with the new turbo model, because I've driven both the hatchback and the sedan versions for the 2019 and 2020 when this thing first got redesigned, and I really like this car a lot. Actually, I just saw one of these things out on the road. It was a hatchback, and oh my gosh, dude, the thing was gorgeous. It had like an exotic look to it. It was one of my most favorite looking, not just Mazda products, but cars in general. I really like the hatchback version. And with the Mazda 3, I think I would personally go with the hatchback. I would not stem for this sedan, also for practicality reasons, aside from the looks. But you let me know in the comment section how this vehicle looks to you. This thing does have, for this model year 2021, with the turbo model, you can get an optional 18-inch BBS wheels. These wheels are 18 inches as standard, but you can get some custom BBS ones as well if you would like. But on to more pressing matters like this drive. Damn, that turbo engine is pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty nice. And this is the reason why I like this car so much, is because this is the kind of smallest, most lightweight vehicle you can get with this turbo engine. This is actually making it a lot of fun to drive, actually. But I'll test more of that on the highway in a little bit. But anyway, let's talk about it. So it's obviously got the new engine. That's the biggest highlight with this car. It's got about 250 horsepower and about 320 pounds-feet of torque. And that's on premium fuel. You can put regular fuel in it and get about 227 horsepower and about 310 pounds-feet of torque. So not a huge loss in power or anything like that, but I would still recommend putting the premium fuel in it because, more power is just a little bit better, right? And this thing is rated to get about 23 in the city, 32 on the highway, so not bad fuel economy either. And this is, like I mentioned, one of the smaller vehicles you can get with this engine. It's also one of the lighter ones too because of that. So it weighs about 3,374 pounds. So I think it's up about 84 pounds from a regular kind of all-wheel drive Mazda 3. And all these turbo models, they come with all-wheel drive as standard. You cannot get the Mazda 3 turbo with front-wheel drive. You can get a Mazda 6 turbo and front-wheel drive, but not the 3. And that's fine. This is apparently an amazing all-wheel drive system for both all-weather kind of inclement driving, but also for performance driving as well, so that's good. These things are mated to a 6-speed automatic, so it's a transmission I've historically said I really like with these Mazda products. It's basic, it gets a job done. There's not a lot of gears for this thing to go running through, so there's no gear hunting with this car. I really appreciate that. You can put this thing into a little sport mode here as well, but I'll put in the normal mode for now because that is, for most intents and purposes, my most favorite way of driving these cars. 2019, this thing obviously got redesigned. It's got a strut-based suspension up front, but many people are upset that they got rid of the multi-link rear suspension. It's got a torsion beam, but actually Mazda says that the torsion beam performs better than the previous multi-link, and also it's cheaper to manufacture, so that's always a great thing for them, I guess. But yeah, I driven the previous cars, and I have no issues with handling with this car or ride quality. I do not miss the multi-link one bit. The thrust in this thing is effortless. This is my most favorite tuned version of this engine. This engine does not feel nearly as lively in something like the CX-5 or the CX-9. This is tuned great, man. I really like this a lot. It definitely gives you that effortless thrust when you need it off the line. For city driving, this is amazing. Now, typically with these turbo cars, and especially with these Mazda turbo cars, they definitely fall flat when you start to rev it out. So it's not an enthusiast product by any means. It's not the enthusiast engine or anything like that. This thing is about $31,000 starting price. It kind of tops out around $34,000 to $35,000. You know, for this price, you can get things like VW Golfs, the GTIs, the Veloster N, and the Honda Civic Type R. You know, more performance-oriented options are available at this price point. But what is I kind of, you know, alluded to this while I was, you know, making that little intro there. It's kind of for the person who wants more of a luxury car, but they don't want the snobbery associated with a luxury product, basically. That's pretty much what this is. But otherwise, you know, everything else associated with driving this car is pretty much actually identical to the regular Mazda 3. You know, the steering, the kind of ride, all the kind of mannerisms of this car is very similar to a standard Mazda 3. So I'm glad to see that, but this car is very lively with this new turbo engine. I really like this thing a lot, actually. Yeah, this thing does not utilize double pane glass or anything like that, but it's a very thick piece of glass. I do like that with these cars. Things like the CX-5, CX-9, they do actually use double pane glass. I believe the Mazda 6 as well, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Actually, when I previously tested out the Mazda 3 sedan, the 2020 model year, I actually said that it's superior almost to something like an Acura ILX. This is definitely more so in line with like entry-level luxury cars. And actually, I don't really talk about 0 to 60 often on my channel, but I think this thing does 0 to 60 anywhere between 5.5 seconds to 6 seconds flat, so, or 5.9 seconds. So that's actually a little bit faster than something like an entry-level Mercedes A-Class or a BMW 2 Series. They came out with a new like front-wheel drive 2 Series or something like that. So this is actually a little bit faster in those vehicles, 0 to 60 wise. And I can see that because this thing has a lot of pep off the line. I'll bust this turn here. There's hardly any like torque steer. I mean, this all-wheel drive system is set up really well. I love it, man. I love it. This thing is really freaking quick, actually. That's the beauty of this. You know, this engine was not really, it wasn't really doing it justice in like those heavy ass like CX-5s and things like that. Nobody's going to have an issue with speed with this car. I'm doing some extremely high speeds in this car, actually. I don't want to say what it is, but it's up there. And you know what? This thing is so freaking effortless. Some people are saying that winding this thing out wasn't super exciting. I mean, again, this is not a performance engine, but damn, this thing is quick, dude. I mean, this thing revs out a little bit past 6,000 RPM, like 6,200 RPM. It's not a whole lot, but I'm telling you, as more of a luxury experience, this is great. There is a little bit more road noise, tire noise, things like that. And this thing is rocking some 215 wide tires, actually. So it's not even super wide tires, but the stability at high speeds is very good with this thing. It's a little itty bitty car, like 175 inches long, but this thing is rock solid at some nice speeds. So that's very good. I'm very glad to report that. Bust this little U-turn real quick. But yeah, it's got some 215 wide Bridgestone tires on it. And I like that it's 215s because it's supposed to reduce the road noise when you have slightly skinnier tires. It's got plenty of grip, so the 215s are fine for this thing. Busting, you know, tight U-turns, it's not an issue for this thing. It's not the type of speed that throws you back into your seat or anything like that, but here's the thing with that. You see the speedometer climbing in this thing and you're like, damn, I'm doing a very good number in this thing. So that's the kind of experience you're going to get with this thing. You're getting a great ride quality. You're getting a great kind of daily driver with this vehicle. That's what you're buying into here. You're not buying into a performance. This is not a Mazda speed product. They're done with that, dude. They're going full-on luxury, basically. They're going full-on luxury without a luxury car badge. That's what you need to understand that Mazda is doing here. If you want full-on performance, kind of balls to the wall, like fake cracks and pops and all that stuff, you're gonna have to go to the other brands for that, because do not buy this thinking that you're getting a performance product, although it is very quick. Geez, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing smokes some of those performance cars, actually. If you're looking for straight up speed, man, you will more or less get it with this car, that's for sure. Brakes do a pretty decent job as well with this thing. Again, driving it is like driving a Mazda 3. The same great qualities I found with the regular Mazda 3, that all continues here. No, it's not pure luxury car. There's a little bit of tire noise, things like that. A bit of wind buffeting, but that's normal because it's a pretty windy day. But it's not like, the stupid hissing effect with the wind, nothing like that. So that's very good. Kind of testing out that handling here. Again, it doesn't weigh a whole lot. It's got plenty of grip out of that all-wheel drive system. So this thing actually handles pretty freaking good as well. Again, it's very all-weather friendly. That's the other thing you have to keep in mind. You can't really say that with all the other competitors, with it only being front-wheel drive based. I mean, this is front-wheel drive based, but they only offer it in front-wheel drive. Yeah, this is a really composed body. The torsion beam is not something I ever really complained about with these cars. Very impressive. I really enjoy driving this car. I know you can get a manual transmission with this car as well. Like a premium version of the Mazda 3. You actually had to get a fully loaded Mazda 3 four-cylinder to get the manual transmission. They did it the opposite way, actually. But I don't know if I would choose that. I think I have to have the 6-speed and this turbo model, honestly. Again, the 6-speed transmission pretty much works just as it does with the other Mazda products. It's very smooth. I really like the way it operates. There's not a whole lot of gears for it to go down. And you can obviously put it into the sport mode if you would like, but that's not really necessary. I like the way this is reacting in the regular modes as well. Sport mode pretty much just puts you in that lower gear, basically, to kind of give you more instantaneous thrust, if you will. You just floor it. You always kind of got the gears, basically, and kind of more so wind out to that 6,000 RPM mark. Yeah, this has been a very enjoyable experience for me. I like everything about this car, honestly. I can live with a bit of the noise that this car produces. It's very much in line with the competitor cars. Again, keep in mind, this is just a compact car, but the refinement, the ride quality is amazing with this car. Over like the worst of bumps, this thing is still doing an amazing job, so I really like that. I'll bust this turn for you guys as well. Sticks like glue because of the all-wheel drive. It never peels out. Not saying that the front-wheel drive version of the regular Mazda 3 peeled out either, but like, this is just doing an amazing job. I really like this a lot, man. There's not a whole lot of complaints for me with this vehicle. Obviously, I have mentioned my love for the regular 4-cylinder as well. Don't get me wrong, that's all you need. It's very adequate for that very small vehicle, and this is the most exhilarating experience I've ever gotten with the turbo engines out of this Mazda products, basically. But that about does it for this drive. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this interior now. Okay, I'm not going to waste too much time on the interior because it's pretty much the exact same as the 2019 and the 2020. It's pretty much carryovers, basically, for the 2021, but I will mention a few slight things. Obviously, this is the best-in-class interior. This interior makes all the other cars look like a Motel 6 bathroom, actually, even something like the Acura ILX, actually. So this is actually like legitimate luxury car levels interior. Yes, they do use some more hard touch plastics down here. Totally forgiven because the rest of the competitors are all hard touch plastic, so there's that. Okay, but most importantly though, you get the Bose audio system standard with the turbo models of the Mazda 3, so that's a great thing. You get one-touch automatic windows for all 4 windows. Great stuff. You got the 8.8-inch screen, which is the upgraded Mazda infotainment that they introduced with the 2019 Mazda 3 as well as the CX-30. And that's the screen that pretty much all the other newer Mazdas get now as well. They kind of caught up, like the CX-5, CX-9, things like that. So that's a great screen. I really like using it. You got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as standard. You got a few safety features with this particular model. Like I mentioned at the beginning, this is more so of a base model Mazda 3 Turbo. So something to keep in mind, but still got a few things like lane keep assist, few safety features like that, smart brake support, and you got rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, all that good stuff, even with this regular model. So there is a premium plus package, all that stuff. So what do? You get a 360 camera, you get like a rear, some type of traffic alert thing, and a few other more safety features. You get splitters, you get a rear spoiler and like a diffuser, all that kind of stuff. When you go up in trim, like I mentioned, you get BBS wheels as an option as well. So a few things like that. But the rest of the interior, man, it is absolutely stunning. I love gripping onto this steering wheel. Everything about this is almost Audi-esque in terms of the way the buttons feel, the way they sound, how clicky they are. You got heated seats for the front two seats here. You got heated steering wheel. These seats are actually the leatherette seats, and I absolutely love that. So the standard seats are leatherette seats. So if you move up to the premium plus packages, all that stuff, you get like real kind of Napa leather, stuff like that. But this leatherette is amazing. Love that. You go ahead and you read up on all the different kind of trim levels, the options, see what you need and option it up that way. Again, this thing starts at around $31,000, tops out at about $35,000. Pick how much you want to pay. But just know the core of this interior is phenomenal. This is one of the best interiors you're going to get into. Seats are freaking comfortable as hell. They changed it for 2019, and they really made sure that it's like the least fatiguing seats ever. This is a very high class seat. This is like a luxury car seat, basically. It's that good. The seating position, they just nailed all that stuff. They spent a lot of research and development on stuff like that. So that's really great to see. The rear seats. Okay, so here it is. Okay, this is a compact sedan. There's no getting around it. This is a very small vehicle, and the rear seats are definitely limited. So something like a Honda Civic actually provides probably the most amount of space in the segment. But here's the thing. I'm 5'11", okay? And I also really like the step-in height of this vehicle. I don't know what it is. I know it's a little bit more low slung, but you kind of just get in and out of this thing. It's just very perfect. I don't know. I find it perfect for me anyway. But also, I'm 5'11". I sit a little bit closer to the steering wheel than most people. Actually, a lot. I don't have the weird gangster lean or anything like that. I sit like how a person should sit to optimize myself for both safety and for visibility, all that good stuff. And because of that, I actually have plenty of space as a 5'11" individual to sit behind myself. So that's one thing. And also, I like the way they've made the rear seats actually. Sorry, not the rear seats, but like the back of these front seats, right? They're really like kind of cushioned in. You can really kind of dig your knees into the back seat. So that helps. That gives you a little, like few extra inches of leg room back there if you're a little bit taller. So that's the thing. If you sit properly in the front, okay, I'm a larger individual and I can sit perfectly back there. So you people need to like adjust your seating position to sit correctly in a seat to give the rear passengers more space. But regardless of that, it's still smaller, and if you're definitely over 6 feet tall, it can be a little bit tight back there. But again, you buy this for yourself. You don't really care about other people. That's not why you buy this thing for. You buy this for a luxury experience for you and you only. You enjoy it, and the other people in this car, screw them. But just know the car is still comfortable back there. I still like the seating comfort back there. You can fold down the seats. That's great. Also forgot to mention there's a sunroof here as well. But anyway, this is still a very practical car because the trunk space is absolutely massive in this vehicle. Honestly, they probably could have gave you less trunk space and kind of moved the rear seats back, I feel like, because it's that big. It's like the size of like a mid-sized car, basically. So huge trunk. You got a spare tire back there, and you can fold down these rear seats. I don't know, man. This is looking to be a pretty good daily driver for most people. Yes, the rear seats are limited, but it's not as bad as you might think. You can definitely adjust for it. There's no HVAC back there, but I really enjoy driving this car, man. I didn't think I would like it this much because the other engines, like the other turbo engines in something like a CX-5, CX-9, they don't feel this nice. They don't feel as lively. This one just, man, it just does it for me. So I really like this. Coupled with the all-wheel drive system, you can drive it year-round. It's a fun little car, man. So it's a nice car. It's a gorgeous looking car, especially in the hatchback, but the sedan isn't bad either. So definitely, man, do yourself a favor. Put it on your short list at least go out and test drive it. Trust me, I think you will like it. I lean more towards the luxury side of things, so I appreciate this more so than the ridiculous performance car with the big farty exhaust cans and all that stuff. I mean, I actually really like this car a lot. So know what you're getting into. Understand this is not a Mazda Speed 3 product. Understand they're done with those days and they've moved on to a luxury car experience. So that about does it for this review. All of Capital Mazda Cary's information and Will Rodden's information will be down in the description box. Hit him up if you would like. But make sure to click on this video that I'm going to have on the end screen here. So thank you again. Goodbye.